Are you living your life grieving on autopilot? If you are, let's talk about that. Hey, Wid fam, this is Leo with One Happy Widow. Today we're going to talk about living on autopilot, just going through the motions, putting one foot in front of the other, and not really being focused and present in the moment as we live our lives in this grief journey. So, the reason I came up with this topic today was I have been on this journey for the past 8 months or so, where I've been on a special diet and I've been trying to lose some of this marriage weight that I've put on. It's no secret. I've put on some weight since I got married and I've been trying to take it back off. I used to be able to diet pretty easily and lose weight pretty easily. And between my Hashimoto's and my being 50, my metabolism, I guess, is just shot. So, I've been doing this carnivore diet for about 8 months and I've lost about 20 pounds, but it has just been a struggle. Like 20 pounds in 8 months is not very much. It's what, 2 to 3 pounds a month. So I've been scraping and clawing. So I was trying to just think about what it was that I did the last time that I lost a bunch of weight fairly easily and what I was doing. And it took me back to the first year or two after Dewey died. When Dewey got sick, he had cancer. And in that 4 months between his diagnosis to his death, I was already overweight and out of shape because I had just kind of let myself go over years of marriage and parenting and not paying attention to myself. And in that 4 months when he was sick, I was even less thinking about myself and trying to keep myself healthy. And I wasn't really cooking because I was too busy trying to raise the kids and go to work and do all the things. He was the stay-at-home dad, and I was the breadwinner. Okay. And so takeout became my best friend. And so we were eating out a lot. We were going through the drive-through a lot and eating very unhealthy. And so I probably put on another like 20 pounds in that time period. And by the time he died, I started thinking about my kids don't have a dad anymore. He died of a health related illness that it's not that he could have prevented it because it was such a rare cancer. It was bile duct cancer. So it's not like he died of lung cancer and was smoking or things like that. There was no direct correlation. But he did have diabetes and he wasn't in the best of health already. He was already on disability. And it made me panic for a moment because I thought, well, they've already lost their dad. What happens if I die from a health related illness that possibly could have been prevented by me taking care of myself better and being healthier and eating right and not being overweight and all those things? And it became my main goal at that time to try to start eating better. I started exercising. I started working out like a crazy person. And that was also kind of my therapy at the time. And so I started thinking back to, what was I doing back then differently than what I've been doing recently that was working so much better. And the biggest difference was working out. And so I started thinking about like what my daily routine was in that first year after Dewey died. I was getting up. First of all, let me go back. I had 4 kids still at home: a 7-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 19-year-old. The 19-year-old was helping out. She was in college. And so she was kind of on doing her thing. The 15-year-old was at the high school. The 12-year-old was at the middle school. And the 7-year-old was at the elementary school. I was getting up every morning at 4:30 a.m., leaving the house. The kids were all still asleep at home, going to the gym for the 5 o'clock workout, working out, coming back home, getting a shower, getting myself ready for work. Then I was getting the kids up, getting them ready, fed, taking them to school, getting them off to school. All of them were at different schools. That's about the extent of what I remember. I was trying to think of getting kids up and getting them ready in the mornings is like one of my least favorite chores to do. When Dewey was alive, he was the stay-at-home dad. He was getting them up. He was giving them breakfast. He was taking them to school or staying home and doing homeschool with our son. And so he was taking care of all those things. I just had to get up, get ready for work, and go. So after he died, I had to take on all of those tasks, and I started wondering, how in the hell was I doing all that? And I started thinking about, you know, I don't remember getting my 7-year old up and getting her dressed and ready for school. I don't remember waking up my son. I don't remember waking up my daughter. I don't remember getting them ready or prompting them to get ready for school. And then, amazingly, I don't even remember how they got to school. I don't remember if they took the bus. I don't remember if I drove them all and dropped each of them off. I don't remember if one was driving the other or if my 19-year-old was driving one or some. I don't remember. Like, I barely remember which school they were going to, because if you've watched my other videos, you'll realize that my kids went through a lot of different learning environments to try to get them through school and graduated. So we changed from public school to charter school to online school to different type of online school to back to regular school. Like, it was a madhouse. But I realized that no matter how much I tried to remember, I don't remember, like, picking out my daughter's outfits or getting my son up and having them get ready for school and seeing them brushing their teeth. And like I said, I don't even remember how they got to school. I know that my 15-year-old daughter was going to the same school where I was working. So I assume that she rode with me. And I also remember when she turned 15 and a few months after Dewey died, I do remember we got a golf cart. We lived in a city which was very unique. They had hundreds of miles of golf cart paths all through the city, and kids at age 15 could drive a golf cart by themselves. So I do know that when we got her the golf cart, she just started driving herself around everywhere around town. So I know she was driving herself to school at that time. Um, she may have been driving her brother to the middle school and dropping him off on the way. She wasn't driving her youngest sister because that was on the other side of town, and she wouldn't have been able to get there. So I still can't remember, like, how we worked it all out. And it's weird that that whole that whole period of time was like blanked out in my mind. I have no memory of it. And so then I started feeling really weird because I was like, I guess I was just on autopilot so much that I don't even remember. Like, I have no memories of the activities that we did. I think that my brain was so focused on the tasks without connecting to what I was actually doing, and so focused on the grief that it just didn't make meaningful memories for me because I was just like a robot going through the motions. So I texted my daughter, the 15-year-old who's now 21 and married, and I said, "Hey, in that first year after Daddy died, like, how did y'all get to school? Do you remember how were you taking somebody to school, and like what was the process?" So she texts back and she says, "I don't remember." She said, "I don't even remember going to school that first year." And so then I realized, oh my gosh, was doing the same thing. She was going through the motions and not really placing any meaningful memories to anything because she was grieving too and just trying to get through day to day. So she doesn't remember either. I do start to remember some things when we built our house and then we moved into the new house. And I know that my kids went to another school where they were catching the bus right there in our neighborhood. So some memories start to come back at that point. So it was just that year or so, that first year of grief, that I just don't really have a whole lot of memories of what I did with the kids and how I managed my tasks from day to day. Between getting myself up, working out, getting the kids ready, getting them to school, going to work all day, coming back, somehow getting them back home. I don't know if they rode the bus or I picked them up. I don't remember. And, getting dinner and doing the chores and getting homework done and going to bed, all those things. Like, I have almost zero memories of those things. And it really kind of like it struck me. And I do all these videos about how, like, I made it through the first year of grief, and I realized that I don't hardly have any memories of that first year of me getting through. I have memories of how I felt and some of my thoughts and things, but like my general activity from day to day, I don't have memory of it. I don't know if I blocked it out or the memories don't exist. I don't know. So it was and it kind of was upsetting for me. And so um, I realized that what I wish I had done and what I should have done was journaled. Even if I have just written down a few things once a week and written down what I was doing, I could have gone back and read those journals and it would have prompted some memories for me, or at least it would have told me, how I got through those days and how I got through those tasks. And so I could see not only would it have helped me to figure out today what I was doing, it also would have helped me to see how far I've come in this grief journey, because that was 6 years ago. And so I can't really get a good grasp of how far I've come. I know I've come far. I know that I'm doing better in my grief and that I've gotten stronger and able to handle, some things. But I look at my days now and I'm thinking, wow, I get stressed out on my task that I have to do today. And I have one child to get ready every morning. And I don't have to wake her up until 7:30. And all she has to do is get dressed and come to the couch with her computer, because she does online school at home with me. And so, and she's 13, so she's self-sufficient. She can get herself dressed and get ready and fix her hair and all those things. And sometimes I think of, gosh, all the tasks I have to do in the day. And then I realize this is nothing compared to what I was doing back then with all 4 kids. But I can't see the comparison because I don't even remember. And if I had journaled, I could have read some of those entries and it would have maybe either prompted my memory, or it would have at least I've been able to read it and know what I was doing so that I could make that comparison about how far I'd come. And I make these other comparisons. If you've watched my other videos, and you've heard these before, but even in my last video, I talked about this. But let's think of a haircut, a bad haircut, or trying to or cutting your bangs and trying to grow your bangs out, right? Or trying to grow your hair out. And in my last video, I showed go ahead and watch it, because I showed some pretty bad pictures of a bad haircut that I had back then. And I can remember that bad haircut that first day, and I'm thinking, this looks terrible, and it's going to take forever before it looks any better. And I remember the next day looking in the mirror and thinking, this still looks awful. And the next day, yep, still looks awful. For day after day after day, still thinking this looks terrible. And maybe months later, I would look at it and think, gosh, this is a really bad haircut. But then I would look back at a picture of the first day of that bad haircut and I would realize, oh, okay, it does look a lot better, because this is how it looked 3 months ago, and that was really bad. But when you look at it every single day in the mirror, you don't see the changes because they're so small and they're so minute. You don't notice the growth or the changes or the improvements because they're so tiny. And so the only way that you can see where you've come or how far you've come is by looking back over larger periods of time. Let's think about dieting, okay? If you are on a diet like I've been, I've lost 20 pounds in the last 8 months, but I don't see it because I look at myself in the mirror every day, or I'm stepping on the scale every day, and I'm like, I'm not seeing the changes. I have gotten to the point where I don't even weigh myself. I was weighing myself every day. That was a bad idea, because I could, gain 2 pounds in a day from just holding water or something. So then I went to just weighing myself every week, and that wasn't good either, because sometimes I wouldn't lose any weight in a week, and I knew I had done everything right for 7 whole days, and the scale wasn't moving. So I finally got to where I was just weighing myself every month. And even at the end of the month, sometimes I was only seeing 1 or 2 pounds difference. And it was a little frustrating. So I had to look back at pictures. If you look back at a picture from 6 months ago, I can see a big difference. But if I look at myself in the mirror every single day, I still look at myself and think, oh, I still got a lot of weight to lose, because I'm not even close to my goal weight. Like, I need to lose 30 or 40 more pounds before I get there. And I'm like, how long is that going to take? Is that going to take 2 years? But in 2 years, if I don't do anything now, I'm going to be mad that I didn't do something. That time's going to go by anyway. But if you've ever watched somebody's, watch a video on YouTube of somebody's weight loss transformation, they'll show themselves from week to week to week, and they barely look any different. But then when they show those pictures of beginning and end, like day 0, day 180, day 1, day 365, 6 to 12 months later, if you just see the very beginning and the very end, you see huge transformations. You can see all the differences, but I can guarantee you that person could look in the mirror every single day and not hardly see any difference. So we have to look at the growth over large periods of time. And the only way to do that is for our grief journey, we can't look at pictures. We can't look at a scale. Sometimes pictures can show differences in, how our bodies have changed and our faces have changed. But the only way to know what was going on in our minds and what was going on in our hearts and our feelings is by reading a journal where we have written down, or a video that you made, like maybe a video journal, where you've written down or talked about where you were in that moment so that you can go back and make that comparison. So if you are not in your fresh grief, let's say you're in 6 months out, you're 12 months out, you're 1 year out, maybe you're 2 years out or more, and you're thinking to yourself, why am I still so sad? Why am I still struggling so much? I'm not, I should be farther along in my grief journey. I should feel better. I should be happier. Whatever these thoughts are in your mind where you feel like you should be farther along than you are and you feel like you're stuck. It could be true, or it could be that you don't realize how much growth that you've made in your grief journey because you haven't seen the changes because they have been so gradual. And the only way that you would be able to know and compare is if you were to read your journal from 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, and then said, whoa, man, I was really in a dark place back then. And I really have gotten better or stronger or more able to handle my grief or feeling better or not as much pressure on me. Whatever you might think about, you might not realize that you're healing at all unless you compare it to how you were feeling in a chunk of time before that. And so I really wish that I had journaled back then. I still don't journal. And I tell everybody that they should, but part of it is because I do my YouTube channel. And so I can go back and I can look at videos and watch them and listen to myself talk about where I am or, what I've been struggling with. So that's kind of like my version of journaling, but I wasn't journaling. I wasn't even doing this YouTube channel until about 2 years out. And so 2.5 years out, something like that. And so in that first 1 to 2 years, I have no journaling. I have no videos. I have no idea about mentally where I was. I think I do. When I talk about, in that first year, this is how I was feeling and these are the thoughts I had and this is how I was struggling. But honestly, it came to my attention today that there's a lot of stuff that I really don't remember. And so I think what I was doing, I was just going on autopilot. I was just putting one foot in front of the other because I couldn't let my grief overtake me. I could not go and lay in the bed and put my covers over my head and sit there for a week or two and not get up and say, I'm not going to get up until I feel better, because I had kids to raise. I had bills to pay. I had a job to do. I had no choice. I had to get up and continue going like a lot of people do. And the only way that I could do that, I sure as hell didn't feel like doing it, but I had to do it. My kids had nobody else in the world but me. They didn't have another parent. They didn't have other family members that were close by that could help out. So, and they were too young to do, for themselves. So the only way they were going to eat and go to school and get dressed and have a roof over their heads or anything else that they needed was if I provided it. And so I had no other choice. So I think I just went on robot mode, autopilot, and I just went through the motions and did the things. And I don't even remember monitoring my weight loss at that time. I can look at pictures over time and I'm like, whoa, that weight was coming off. But I don't even remember getting on the scale. I don't even remember caring because I wasn't trying to lose weight back then. I was trying to get healthy. I was trying to heal myself and heal my body and just eat as healthy as I could and get as active as I could so I can have energy and I could, my body wasn't hurting. And it really worked, but I wasn't really following my own progress because I was doing it for different reasons. The biggest difference now between now, why it's not working, and back then, why it's not working, is besides the fact that I have Hashimoto's, which I also had back then, but I think I'm now going through menopause and I'm 50 and I wasn't back then. I was 43. And also I was working out. I was working out like a mad woman, getting up at 4:30 in the morning. And I haven't been doing any exercises. I haven't been working out. I work at home now. Like I teach from home on a computer. And whereas even when I was teaching and not exercising, I was getting 5 to 8,000 steps a day just walking around. And now I get maybe 1,000 steps a day because I'm sitting. And so, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, I think that's what I'm going to have to start doing is start moving my body again to start getting some results. But the point is I'm trying to encourage you to, even though I'm not doing the journaling, but I'm doing my videos. If I wasn't doing my videos, I definitely would be, needing to do some journaling. So that's what I'm trying to encourage you to do. Start journaling. Okay, you got some choices. You can just take out a notebook. Just get a notebook. A blank notebook. This is a dotted notebook that I just love. I have like a million of these. I'm a list maker, and so I might not actually journal my feelings, but I put my lists down. I list my to-do lists and my project lists and my idea lists and all that stuff. I'm a list maker, so I've got a bunch of these notebooks. I mean, I got them in all sizes, and I'm always making lists. If you want the link to these specific notebooks, these are dot journals. They're not lined. They have the little dots on them. And it's great for my ADHD brain because I don't really like the lines. I like the dots because I can make little boxes and I can make little symmetrical lines and separate little sections. And the paper's really thick and they're just really good quality. So I'll put the link down below if you want to link to those. Or you can buy like a real journal that's got, a journal templates in there or that have prompts. Or I have some journal templates that you can just print out and just put in a 3-ring binder. Put hole punches, put them in a 3-ring binder, and you can write your own journal thoughts out. Put a prompt at the top, put your journal entry at the bottom. And if you want those free journal templates, you just need to go to onehappywidow.com/journal. I'll put the link down below also. And you can go there, enter in your email address, and it will send you for free the journal templates that you can use unlimited numbers. Okay, so give it a try. My suggestion would be journal at least once a week, if not every day. Journal what you're thinking. Journal what you're going through. If you journal something that might have triggered you, journal your daily routine. Like, here is a day in the life of me right now. This is what a typical day looks like, and go through. Like, if I had done that back then and said, well, I get up at 4:30, I go work out, then I go get the kids ready, and then I take blah, blah, blah. If I had just written out my daily routine, I could have at least known what I was going through back then and been able to say, whoa, how in the world was I doing all that? Like, that takes Superwoman to do that, right? And not only was I doing all those things on top of working, I was also grieving at the same time. I don't know how I did it. Like, I really don't. If I had to do all those things that I did back then today, I feel like there's no way I could have done it. And I mean, I guess I would have, because I probably didn't think I could do it back then, but I just did because I had to. Thank God I don't have to do all of those things by myself anymore. But, it makes me feel a little better knowing that my life is easier. And I have gotten better at dealing with my grief and incorporating it into my life and figuring out how to make things work. I do feel happier. I do have more happy days than I did back then. I am trying to be more in the moment, and live my life and try to create those memories and keep, be more present in the moment than I was back then. But I wouldn't have even thought about that if I hadn't tried to remember all those times back then. And I really wish at that time that I had journaled something so that I could have that comparison between way back then to today and how far that I've come. So put your journal entries in, and then my suggestion would be every time the weather changes. Okay, so every time, we move from summer to spring to fall to winter. So whenever the weather changes, open up your journal and just go back and read your last few months of journal entries. See how far you've come. Open up and look 6 months ago. Look 12 months ago. Then you can really see how far you've come. And it might help you to understand that you might feel like you're stuck in your grief and you might feel like you've not come very far, but you might actually realize, wow, I really have. And that will give you hope to know that in the next 3, 6, or 12 months, you will heal even more. you will go even farther in this journey and learn how to cope and live with this grief that's in your life every day. So, I encourage you to get those journal templates or get yourself a notebook and start journaling. If you need more support, feel free to join our Facebook group. I'll put a link to that below. Subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss any more future videos. Give this video a thumbs up if it has given you any help at all. Feel free to comment below if you have any thoughts about this video or if you do journal and how it has helped you, if at all. And if you need any help with financial advice, I am not the person to help you. But I will tell you this, I do have a deal with moneypickle.com. They have offered all of my subscribers an offer to do a free 45-minute online financial advisement with a financial professional. All you have to do is go to moneypickle.com/onehappywidow, sign up for a free 45-minute consultation, and they will give you some ideas of how you could do your finances, how you could set things up. If you have specific questions about taxes or savings or, wills or pensions or life insurance or, budgets, whatever it might be, they will give you some ideas of how you could set things up. And if they have any other services that they think might be useful to you, then they can offer you those at that time. So check out moneypickle.com/onehappywidow. I'm going to actually do that myself because we've had some, money issues coming up recently. I'll do another video on that one. All right. So all the resources that you need are going to be placed below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.